Single mom life. There is a bad villager in the forest. The trail camera hidden among the pines captured it all. A man in a dark jacket methodically cutting the support ropes of the wooden bridge that spanned the ravine. The only safe path between the remote cabin where Olivia Parker lived with her 8-year-old daughter and the small town where they bought supplies. What the camera didn't record was the moment 3 days later when Olivia, a city lawyer who had fled to the mountains after her husband's mysterious death, discovered the sabotage just before crossing with her daughter. Or how this deliberate act of malice would force her to confront not only the danger lurking in the forest, but also the secrets she'd been running from. Secrets that connected her directly to the man who wanted her gone, and to the truth about her husband's death that would shake the entire mountain community to its core. If you're already feeling the tension of this isolated mother and daughter facing an unseen threat, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that explore how ordinary people find extraordinary courage when protecting those they love, and how sometimes the wilderness outside is less dangerous than the wilderness within. Olivia Parker had always been a city girl. Growing up in Chicago, then building her career as a corporate attorney in Manhattan, she had viewed nature as something to be visited occasionally on carefully planned vacations, not lived in. Yet here she was, 34 years old, chopping firewood outside a cabin nestled deep in the Blue Ridge Mountains, miles from the nearest neighbor and a good 40-minute drive from the small town of Pine Hollow. "Mom, look what I found." 8-year-old Lily came running around the side of the cabin, her dark curls bouncing, cheeks flushed with excitement. In her cupped hands was a tiny frog, its emerald skin glistening in the morning light. Olivia set down the axe and wiped her brow. 6 months ago, she wouldn't have recognized the difference between a frog and a toad, but Lily had become something of an amateur naturalist since their move to the mountains. "That's a tree frog, right?" Lily nodded enthusiastically. "A green tree frog. Can I keep him in my terrarium? Just for a day to observe him?" "Please." "One day," Olivia agreed, smiling at her daughter's delight. Then back to his home in the forest. As Lily carefully carried her treasure inside, Olivia surveyed the clearing around their cabin. The autumn colors were at their peak, painting the surrounding forest in brilliant reds and golds. It was beautiful, breathtakingly so, but sometimes the isolation still unnerved her, especially at night, when the darkness seemed absolute and the sounds of the forest took on ominous tones. They had been living here for 4 months now, ever since Michael's death had turned their lives upside down. The official report had ruled it an accident, a tragic fall in their Manhattan apartment building's stairwell after a late night at the office. But the detective's questions, the strange phone calls that had preceded Michael's death, and the mysterious key she'd found hidden in his desk had planted seeds of doubt that Olivia couldn't ignore. When she discovered that Michael had secretly purchased this cabin 2 years earlier, a property he'd never once mentioned to her, those seeds had blossomed into full-blown suspicion. Something wasn't right about her husband's death, and somehow this remote cabin was connected to it. So she had done what any good attorney would do, gathered what evidence she could, taken a leave of absence from her firm, and retreated with Lily to the one place that might hold answers. The fact that it also provided escape from the increasingly disturbing incidents in their Manhattan apartment, the sense of being watched, the unexplained disturbances in their home, was an added benefit. Olivia stacked the last of the firewood and headed inside. The cabin was rustic but comfortable, with 2 bedrooms, a spacious living area with a stone fireplace, and a kitchen that opened onto a small dining space. Large windows looked out onto the forest, allowing light to flood the interior during the day. Lily had set up her terrarium on the kitchen table and was carefully arranging leaves and twigs to make her temporary guest comfortable. Olivia watched her daughter, marveling at her resilience. The move had been hardest on Lily, leaving her school, her friends, the only home she'd ever known. Yet she had adapted with remarkable flexibility, finding wonder in their new surroundings. "We need to make a supply run tomorrow," Olivia said, checking their dwindling pantry. "How about we head into town in the morning, get groceries, and maybe stop at the library for some new books? Can we get ice cream at Mr. Wilson's store?" Lily asked, not looking up from her terrarium arrangement. "I think that could be arranged," Olivia smiled. Despite their isolation, they had quickly been embraced by the small community of Pine Hollow. Mr. Wilson, who ran the general store, always had a special treat for Lily. The librarian, Ms. Abernathy set aside books she thought Lily might enjoy, and Sheriff Cooper checked in on them regularly, making the long drive out to their cabin at least once a week, just to make sure you city folks are adapting all right. It was a kindness Olivia appreciated, especially given her growing sense that something wasn't right in these woods. Twice now she had found footprints around the cabin that weren't hers or Lily's. Once, she was certain someone had been inside while they were in town. Nothing was missing, but small things were out of place. And last week, she had glimpsed a figure watching their cabin from the tree line, only to disappear when she called out. She hadn't mentioned these incidents to Sheriff Cooper yet, partly because she had no proof, and partly because she feared sounding like a paranoid city dweller jumping at shadows. But she had taken precautions, installing new locks, setting up trail cameras around the property, ostensibly for Lily to observe wildlife, and keeping her late husband's hunting rifle cleaned and loaded in her bedroom closet. That night, after Lily was asleep, Olivia sat at the kitchen table with Michael's laptop, the one she had found hidden in a compartment beneath the cabin's floorboards, along with a file of documents she still hadn't fully deciphered. Most were in some kind of code, but she had managed to identify references to something called Operation Timberwolf and several mentions of a man named Victor Blackwood. A quick internet search had revealed that Blackwood was a prominent figure in Pine Hollow, a wealthy landowner who had made his fortune in logging before transitioning to real estate development. His company, Blackwood Enterprises, owned nearly half the commercial properties in town, as well as large tracts of the surrounding forest. What connection Michael, a corporate attorney specializing in mergers and acquisitions, could have had with Blackwood remained a mystery, as did the reason Michael had kept this cabin a secret from her throughout their 10-year marriage. Olivia rubbed her tired eyes and closed the laptop. Tomorrow, after their supply run, she would try again to make sense of the documents. For now, she needed sleep. The morning dawned clear and crisp, a perfect autumn day. Olivia and Lily set out in their SUV, following the narrow dirt road that wound through the forest before connecting to the main highway into Pine Hollow. The drive was spectacular, with sunlight filtering through the colorful canopy overhead, creating patterns of light and shadow on the road. "Mom, can we stop at the bridge?" Lily asked as they approached the wooden structure that spanned a deep ravine about halfway to town. "I want to see if the hawks are nesting there again." The bridge was Lily's favorite spot, a picturesque wooden structure built decades ago to connect this remote area to Pine Hollow. Below it, a stream tumbled over rocks before dropping into a series of small waterfalls. Red-tailed hawks often soared on the thermals rising from the ravine, and Lily had become fascinated with them. "Sure, but just for a few minutes," Olivia agreed, pulling into the small clearing that served as a lookout point. They walked to the bridge together, Lily clutching her small binoculars. As they approached, Olivia noticed something odd. The bridge seemed to be listing slightly to one side, and one of the handrails had splintered. "Wait here," she told Lily, suddenly cautious. "Let me check if it's safe." Leaving Lily at the lookout point, Olivia approached the bridge carefully. Up close, the damage was more apparent and more disturbing. The support ropes on one side had been partially cut, not broken through natural wear. This was deliberate sabotage. A chill ran down Olivia's spine as she examined the damage. If they had driven or walked across without noticing, the bridge might have collapsed, sending them plummeting into the ravine below. This wasn't random vandalism. This was a targeted attempt to cause harm. "Is something wrong with the bridge, Mom?" Lily called from the lookout. Olivia forced a calm expression as she turned back to her daughter. "It looks like the bridge needs some repairs. We'll have to take the long way around today." The long way was a logging road that added nearly an hour to their journey, but Olivia didn't hesitate. As they drove, her mind raced. Who would want to hurt them? Was it connected to Michael's death? To the secrets hidden in those coded documents? When they finally reached Pine Hollow, Olivia's first stop was the sheriff's office. Sheriff Cooper, a tall woman in her 50s with silver-streaked dark hair and keen eyes that missed nothing, listened gravely to Olivia's account of the bridge sabotage. "I'll send Deputy Martinez out there right away," she promised, already reaching for her radio. "This is serious, Mrs. Parker. Have there been any other incidents I should know about?" Olivia hesitated, then told the sheriff about the footprints, the sense of intrusion in the cabin, and the figure she had glimpsed watching them from the forest. Sheriff Cooper's expression grew increasingly concerned. Why didn't you report these things earlier? I wasn't sure, Olivia admitted. I thought I might be imagining things, being overly paranoid after everything that happened in New York. The sheriff's gaze sharpened. And what exactly did happen in New York, Mrs. Parker? You've been vague about your reasons for moving here. It was a fair question, but one Olivia wasn't ready to answer fully. My husband died unexpectedly. Lily and I needed a fresh start. Sheriff Cooper studied her for a long moment, clearly sensing there was more to the story. Mrs. Parker, Olivia, I can't help you if you're not honest with me. This is a small town. People talk. And they've been talking about why a successful New York attorney suddenly moves to a remote cabin in the mountains with her young daughter. What are they saying? Olivia asked, tension creeping into her voice. Some think you're running from something, or someone. Others think you're here because of Victor Blackwood. The name sent a jolt through Olivia. Why would they think that? Because your husband purchased that cabin from Blackwood 2 years ago, in a transaction that raised eyebrows around here. Blackwood had been trying to buy up all the property in that area for a development project. He never sells land. He only acquires it. Yet he sold that particular cabin and the surrounding 5 acres to Michael Parker in a private sale that bypassed his usual business channels. This was new information, and it sent Olivia's mind spinning with implications. I didn't know that. Sheriff Cooper leaned forward. Olivia, whatever brought you here, whatever you're involved in, if you or Lily are in danger, I need to know the full story. Olivia glanced at Lily, who was sitting in the waiting area, absorbed in a wildlife magazine. I don't know the full story myself, she said quietly, but I'm trying to figure it out. All I know is that my husband was involved in something connected to Blackwood in this area, something called Operation Timberwolf. After he died, I found documents hidden in our apartment and more at the cabin. I'm still trying to decipher them. The sheriff's expression remained neutral, but Olivia noticed her posture stiffen slightly. I see. In your husband's death, you have reason to believe it wasn't an accident. I don't know, Olivia admitted. But there were inconsistencies in the police report, and he had received threatening phone calls in the weeks before he died. Sheriff Cooper was silent for a moment, processing this information. I want you and Lily to stay in town tonight, she said finally. We have a small inn, nothing fancy, but it's safe. I'll have Deputy Martinez keep an eye on your cabin, and tomorrow we can figure out next steps. I appreciate that, Sheriff, but we'll be fine at the cabin, Olivia said firmly. I've taken precautions, and I don't want to disrupt Lily's routine any more than necessary. The sheriff looked like she wanted to argue, but instead nodded reluctantly. At least let me send a deputy to escort you home and check the property. This Olivia accepted. After completing their shopping and the promised stop for ice cream, they were accompanied back to the cabin by Deputy Martinez, a young officer who thoroughly checked the property before declaring it secure. I'll be back to patrol the area tonight, he assured Olivia. And we've closed off the bridge until repairs can be made. Sheriff Cooper has also contacted the Forestry Service about the sabotage. After he left, Olivia double-checked all the locks and windows before helping Lily release her tree frog back into the forest. As they watched the small creature hop away into the underbrush, Olivia felt a pang of envy for its simple existence, unburdened by human complications. Mom, are we in danger? Lily asked suddenly, her perceptiveness catching Olivia off guard. Olivia knelt to her daughter's level, choosing her words carefully. Why do you ask that, sweetie? Because you've been extra careful lately. And today you were scared about the bridge. And a police officer came home with us. Lily's dark eyes, so like Michael's, were serious. Is it because of what happened to Dad? The question pierced Olivia's heart. She had tried to shield Lily from her suspicions about Michael's death, telling her only that he had fallen and hit his head. What makes you think this has anything to do with Dad? Lily looked down, scuffing the dirt with her shoe. I heard you talking on the phone once. You said you didn't believe it was an accident. Olivia closed her eyes briefly, gathering her strength. Lily, I don't want you to worry about this. My job is to keep you safe, and that's exactly what I'm doing. We're being careful because sometimes people do bad things, like damaging the bridge. But Sheriff Cooper and her deputies are helping us, and we're going to be fine. Lily considered this, then nodded solemnly. Is that why you have Dad's gun in your closet? Olivia stifled a gasp. She thought she had kept the rifle well hidden. Yes, she admitted. It's for protection, but I hope I never have to use it. Now, how about we go inside and make dinner? I think we have everything for your favorite pasta. That night, after Lily was asleep, Olivia returned to Michael's laptop and the coded documents. With new determination fueled by what Sheriff Cooper had revealed about Blackwood selling the cabin to Michael, she focused on the sections that mentioned the businessman. One passage, partially decoded, caught her attention. Blackwood's operation extends beyond timber. Evidence suggests illegal activities including environmental regulations, federal land. Operation Timber Wolf designed to expose. Olivia sat back, her legal mind connecting dots. Had Michael been investigating Blackwood for some kind of environmental crime? Was that why he had secretly purchased this cabin, to gather evidence? A sudden noise outside snapped her attention away from the documents. It was subtle, just a twig snapping, but in the quiet of the forest night, it stood out. Olivia froze, listening intently. There it was again, the soft crunch of footsteps on the forest floor, circling toward the back of the cabin. Moving silently, Olivia went to Lily's room first, relieved to find her daughter sleeping peacefully. Then she retrieved the rifle from her closet and checked that it was loaded. The weight of it felt foreign in her hands. She had only fired it a few times at a shooting range after finding it in the cabin, wanting to be prepared if necessary. Another sound, this time at the back door. The distinct scrape of metal on metal, like someone working at the lock. Olivia's heart pounded as she positioned herself in the hallway, rifle raised, a clear line of sight to the back entrance, but safely distant from Lily's room. The door handle turned slowly, then stopped. A moment of silence followed. Then a shadow passed by the kitchen window. Whoever was out there was trying to find another way in. Olivia reached for her phone to call for help, only to discover there was no signal. Unusual, as they typically had at least one bar of service inside the cabin. Someone must be using a signal jammer, she realized with growing alarm. The front door handle rattled next. Olivia steadied her breathing, aiming the rifle. "I'm armed," she called out firmly. "The police are on their way. Leave now." Silence fell. Then a voice, male, deep, with a local accent, responded, "No police coming tonight."